Put your Bibles in your hands, turn your name, say name. This is the Word of God. Come on, I need everybody in the building standing. Put your Bibles in your hands, say it again. This is the Word of God. Tell your neighbor, I believe this Word. Some of them, I need this Word. I want you to make this declaration after me. Say, Father, I'm asking that you transform this written Word into a living Word in my life. Father, I'm asking that you transform this written Word into a living Word in my life. Come on, one more time, Father, I'm asking that you transform this written Word into a living Word in my life. And all the people of God shout hallelujah. Amen. Amen. We are in John chapter 7. For those who are joining us perhaps for the first time in person or even online, we want to make you aware that we are studying the entire Gospel of John throughout this year. We started in chapter 1. We are now in chapter 7. Our focus and our attention centerpiece for this entire teaching has been the Word made flesh. Everybody say the Word. Come on, everybody say the Word made flesh. All right, so we started in chapter 7 on last Sunday, so I'm going to simply pick up at verse 6. Verse 6. Find verse 6 in John chapter 7. It reads like this. Then said Jesus unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. Turn to your neighbor and say, your time is always ready. Come on, say it again. Your time is always ready. You may be seated. I want you to listen quickly. I don't believe it's going to take much time to get this point across. We are always wanting God to hurry up. If we were to tell the truth, even here at church, we want God to hurry up. Matter of fact, some of us think God is late. Amen. So you don't want to admit it publicly because you're in church. I'm not going to say anything about that right here, right now, but because, we sing that song that, he's an on-time God. But, under your breath, you say, well, yeah, but my rent was due last week. Come on, somebody. He's on time, but he doesn't necessarily get here when I'm expecting him. If I could get some honest believers in the house to just raise your hand with me to say that God does not come when you expect him. We want him to hurry up. If I pray at 8 o'clock, I want to answer. Come on, somebody. I used to, when making this analogy, I would say, by 8 o'clock the next day. But, we on real short terms right now. If I'm praying at 8 o'clock, and I say amen before 8:01, come on, somebody. By 8:02, God, what you doing? Well, but did you hear me? Do I need to repeat it? Should I write it down and put it in an envelope, bring it to the altar, and lay hands on it? Because you're taking too long. My need is urgent. It's not often that you go to God when it's not urgent. Let's just talk truth here, amen. By the time you're calling heaven, it's an emergency. And you think, Brother Ron, some folks, they think you're the only one that has an emergency. But let's all just tell the truth and lean over to the person next to you and tell them, you're not the only one. Come on, tell me, you're not the only one with an emergency. So let's tell the truth. If you happen to wait, means I'm going to give my answer, I'm sorry. I'll pray for you. But I need what I need right now. We want to hurry God up. we actually think that God is paying attention to our calendar, to our schedule. So I'm here this morning to talk about, everybody say, time. Everybody say, time. Something that every one of us possesses, but you do not control it. Let me say that one more time. We all have it, but you don't control it. You possess it, but you don't own it. You're renting it, come on somebody, amen. But you act like it's yours. You're really living on borrowed time. Everybody say time. Something we all have in common. Many of us would say, in some cases, we don't have enough. How many people have been that person that said, I don't have enough time? If there was more time in the day, can I just help all of us? Because I've been culprit of that as well. If there was more time in the day, you still wouldn't get the stuff done that you thought you should have got done today. If I just had more time, what would you do with it if you did have more? Time. So here's how I'm introducing this. We talked last week about this unfortunate conflict between Jesus and his residential family. Everybody say his earth family. His earth family. I'm not going to review it. You can review it yourself on our post on social media. You can see the finer details. I'm simply going to lift out one reminder that his brothers wanted to push the Messiah that they did not believe in. Notice verse 5 says his brethren did not believe in him. Some of us have family members that don't believe in us. I know we got family, extra family folks here today on Sunday. Amen. But you know, if we all tell the truth, we got some family members that thought you weren't going to be about nothing. Come on, somebody. And when you try to give them your business card today, they still, nah, I don't want that because I still don't believe you about nothing. Folks that should know us don't really know us. Folks that should support us don't know how. But in the end of that conversation, they were pressing him to go to the feast. They wanted him to show himself publicly. For 6 months, according to the timing in this passage, Jesus has not shown himself in public, at least not in Jerusalem, in Jewry, as it says in the opening verses. And they're trying to push him out there into the public. And the response that we read in the verse that we just read in verse 6, Jesus says to them, it is not my time, but it is your time. You're trying to push me into your schedule, and you're neglecting to be responsive, let alone responsible for your own time, for your own schedule. My time is not yet full. That's what Jesus says to his brothers. But your time is always ready. So here's what I want to deal with. Everybody say, God's time, and our time. One more time, everybody say, God's time, and our time. You can't control God's time. Stop trying. Stop trying to push God into your agenda. Somebody say it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Stop trying to force God to be somewhere he chooses not to be. That's what the brothers of Jesus were doing. They were trying to force him to be somewhere when he was saying, I'm not going yet. I'm not going to let you push me where I'm not yet appointed to be. I know my schedule, but you don't understand I'm not operating in your natural realm, in the world that you can see. I am operating on a schedule that you cannot see. He said, it was not my time. What is your time? I want us to pick that apart. Because some of us really think that we can force God to change his schedule for us, to push him into an agenda that suits us, but is not according to his will. Somebody say, his time. His time. Come on, everybody say, his time. His time. His will. His will. Maybe we need to remind one another that God already has a plan for my life. How many people believe that God has a plan? Come on, is there anybody in this building that believes God has a plan? Yes. Then my question is, then why are we trying to work our own plan? If God has a plan, how many folks believe God has a plan? Come on, how many folks believe God has a plan? Then why don't we trust God's plan and stop trying to get God to invest himself in our plan and learn how to follow? Somebody say God's plan. God's plan. His brothers wanted the Messiah to adjust to their time, to their schedule. And here's what I'm underscoring for us. God rebukes, refuses, and rejects the schedules of men. Let me say that one more time. God rebukes, refuses, and rejects the schedule of men. You can tell God it's an emergency. I'm going to die if you don't come right now. Come on, somebody. Amen. I know that's happening. You trying to act like you pray all cute and everything, all, with all the powerful, scripture annotations and what have you. But when you really are in an emergency, is anybody else other than me who's ever prayed when you were in and you had an emergency? Come on. Turn your name and say emergency prayer. Is there anybody that has ever prayed and asked God for something in an emergency when you really needed to have it right then and there? You didn't have time to be cute. Somebody say, I ain't got time for that. Do I got some folks that didn't care about who was watching, who was looking, who was paying attention? When you really needed God to move for you, you didn't care about how you looked on the outside because you were already crying on the inside. Is there anybody that knows how to talk to God when you're in an emergency? You ain't got time to be cute or religious or try to get your words all straight. Sometimes all you can say, God, if you don't help me right now, I'm going to die. I got to have you right now. And then we discover that our emergency does not become heaven's emergency. Ooh, wait, somebody just got mad at the preacher and God. How is it that if I'm having an emergency, God is not going to stop what he's doing and have an emergency with me? I know we send God invitations to our pity parties, but he ain't never responded yet. I know we think that God should get rattled because they're at the door knocking, threatening to take every material possession that you own, but God doesn't get rattled. I know that some of us are upset because you are having to go through yet another piece of trial and tribulation that you were not expecting, but you discover that God is not upset. Somebody's going to catch hold in a minute. I'm here to tell you that God does not change his agenda because of what's happening here on earth, because God understands how this works. It's not as it is in earth, so may it be in heaven. It's as in heaven, so may it be in the earth. And if you're having a crisis in the earth, maybe you
crisis mode, you need to discover what it's like when you're in charge. You're not worried about what you feel, what you think, because I'm in charge. Help me, Holy Ghost, because somebody right now is not seeing the full picture. Jesus was in a ship, sleep in the hinder part of the same ship. Everybody say the same ship. Of the same ship that his disciples were in the midst of a storm. They were crying out to the heavens. Heaven, we have an emergency. We are in the middle of a storm. Heaven, the ship is about to be upset and turned over. We need crisis management right now. Somebody said, where is Jesus? The report came back. He's asleep. How can you be asleep when the storm is raging, when the wind is blowing, when the sea is tossed? How can you be asleep? Because I'm in charge. You think that I'm going to change because of what's happening in your world? I'm here to tell you I came to make a difference, not to be a part of the problem, but I am the solution. Somebody say the answer. Come on, somebody say the answer was already in the storm. You're going through a crisis right now, trying to get out of it, but you don't understand. Your answer is in the storm. I wish somebody can see this. You're trying to figure out how I'm going to get to next week, and you ain't got through this week. I'm trying to tell you that your answer is in the storm. Turn to your neighbor and say, right now. Right now. The person that needs to change, not God. The person that needs to change their timing, not God, is us. When I'm in a crisis moment, turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor, you got to trust God in a crisis. We're getting ready to separate those who are really embedded, walking with him. Somebody say, no matter what. From the folks that are only here, depending on what happens in the next moment. There's some folks, do we still have some no matter what believers in the house? Some folks who no matter what storm I'm going through, I'm going to pray no matter what. Is there anybody in the building that knows how to praise God no matter what? Is there anybody that can praise God on a bad day just like you can on a good day? Is there anybody that can praise God in your midnight hour just like you can in your hour of rejoicing? Everybody say no matter what. Instead of going crazy in the midst of your storm, you should have been paying attention. Somebody say, he's with me. He's with me. Even when you don't understand what he's doing, you should be glad that he's with you. I know they said that he was asleep. Can I fix that up a little bit? He was asleep in regards to his response to the storm. Y'all missed me. He was sleeping in response to the challenge of the winds and the waves. He wasn't going crazy over the winds and the waves rocking the ship. He maintained his status of rest. Somebody say rest. I wish I had some old school folks in the house. Some old school folks would tell you, sometimes you just got to rest and trust God. No matter what, you got to believe that my life is in his hand. Can I talk to some believers who are, no matter what I go through, I know I can rest. I can rest because I can trust that he's with me. Somebody say he's with you. He's with me. So I'm going to bring it back to the context. God's not going to change his agenda to respond to our human environment. It's the other way around. He's going to teach us how to trust him no matter what you're going through. How to walk in his plan no matter where it takes you. And how to know that his time is already set. And your time is right now. Everybody say already. But Jesus says to his brother, why are you trying to push me out onto that big public stage? Because you want me to prove again who I am? You don't believe me from what I've already told you at home. From what you've already seen, you don't believe me. You still want, somebody say, more proof. You still want more proof. You still want more evidence. Jesus said, my time is not yet full come. I'm going to fulfill my purpose. But your time is already, somebody say, it's right now. It's right now. What did he mean by their time was right now? As Jesus is starting the second year of his ministry, what he says first to his own brothers, and then we will see it reappear in different forms to the public audience. The time for folks to follow me for the fish and loaves, the time for the folks to follow me for the signs and miracles. If you think that I'm going to focus my attention on doing greater miracles to convince you to believe in who I am, you don't understand what I'm about to do in the second year of my ministry. I tolerated you needing a fish sandwich. Let me talk to church folks tonight. You know, some of us, when we first got connected to God, we needed a fish sandwich. I gotta have something. See, that's why we got problems now. Because when we first got saved, Bishop, you know, we hollered and screamed when we had a problem. And, you know, just like a mother would respond to a crying infant, immediately came and started to, you know, take care of your need, brought the bottle, brought the pacifier, you know, had the formula on the ready. But when you get a little bit older, I got some rough mamas in the house. I wish you would pitch a fit. After all that I've done for you, I wish you better get some act right. Come on, somebody. I tell you what, if I have already, watch this, if I've already prepared a meal for you, you better learn how to eat the food that's on the dinner table. Ain't no pitching a fit like, I don't like that. I don't want no Brussels sprouts. I don't want no broccoli. I don't want, well then I guess you're not gonna eat. Because ain't nobody getting ready to pick you up, cradle you in the arms, and feed you by hand. I went around too long. You know who I am. Second year of ministry, that pampering is going to fade away. That need to have to show up on a moment's notice. Now I need to see what's in you. You already seen what I have. Come on, somebody. Let me see what's in you. How will you respond when it's your time? How will you show that I'm ready? I wish we had some ready folks in the house. Some folks that weren't so spoiled. See, we got spoiled. Man, we got spoiled in the 21st century. Because you can find a Bible study on any channel. Come on, somebody. So I ain't got to go to church. You know, I just wait and see who come on TV, who come on the radio. I'm just going to wait, you know. I'm not gonna get all connected and get drawn in and have to have a commitment to, what I claim I have faith in. I'm just gonna go along and try to get along. But at some point in your life, if you really claim that you are a believer, your time is going to come where God is going to say, are you ready? I've been showing you my hand. Come on, somebody. I've been showing you what I can do. Are you ready? God's going to say, I've been producing. I have given you evidence of what I can and will do. But what are you going to do? When is your time? So I close with this. It's 12/17, 2019. This is the second Sunday in November. Some of y'all have been on the bus for a minute. Come on. And you've been given directions from the back of the bus. What y'all doing up there? Where we going? How come we made that left turn? Why are we going over here now? Been yapping and talking all this time. But now, we're going to pull the bus over. And we're going to see how many folks are really on the bus for the long haul. If we don't ever serve another fish sandwich, come on somebody, let me just open the door right now and see how many folks are going to get off. If you have to wait and trust God as you go through your midnight moment, how many folks are willing to stay in your assigned seat? Oh, I forgot to tell you, you got a place on the bus where you're supposed to sit, a place in God's kingdom where you're supposed to be, an assignment that God has given you that you are supposed to fulfill. How many of us are going to stay in our place no matter what? Stop trying to give God instruction about what he should do for me, where he should go, how we should get there. If I were you, I would trust. I would trust that is all in his hands. Maybe you forgot where he picked you up. I'm just saying, you've been on the bus all this time, and you're all dressed up on Sunday and all sophisticated. Maybe you forgot where he picked you up. So sometimes the bus driver has to go back to your hood. Come on, somebody. Let me drive you back down to the bridge where I found you. Let me take you back to the street where you were passed out and I picked you up. Let me take you back to the gutters where I pulled you up and laid you into something. Let me remind you, I came to find you. You didn't come to find me. I gave my life for you. Not the other way around. If I were you, I would sit in my place. Trust the God that gave me a chance and allow him to get me to my destination. Somebody say, I'm going to trust. I wish I had some good hands. I'm going to trust in the Lord. Till next Sunday, till my next crisis, till my next problem. I need some old school. I'm going to trust in the Lord. That's what Jesus is looking for. the second year of his ministry. Long-term commitment for long-term reward. Eternal life in exchange for the life that you have right now. Trust him. Trust him. That's all it requires. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to know the entire navigational system to figure out where you're going. Trust him. Trust him. If you are present here in this worship, maybe you have been on the fence for a little while. Yeah, because I know us folks, the church, there have been many occasions when we have not done well in representing the God that saved us. But I'm here, not trying to pretend that I'm perfect, but I'm here to tell you that there is one who is perfect, who has loved me with all of my imperfections, who has loved and taken care of me through the midst of all of my struggles, ups and downs. Yeah, even as a preacher, don't get this twisted. Even as a preacher, we have our moments wondering, God, where are you at right now? I ain't heard from you in a minute. I can't really see where you're going, where you're taking me. But he had to tell me, well, just trust me. I done watched over you all this time. Just trust me. And every time I had to stop counting every time when I thought there was no way, God has always made. No, not in my time, but in his time. And all I'm doing now is saying to you, I'm willing to simply commit my whole life to him. Not because everything's been good, but because he is good. Not because all is right, but because he is righteous. I'm encouraging you right now. Your time is always ready. Right now. Your chance to make a decision.